Thank you for joining. Today we'll need at least a block, or if you don't have a block, something that's about this size, whether it's a book or just anything that's about that size. Doesn't have to be heavy. And either a back of a piece of furniture like a chair or even a wall, something that's about hip height or that you can lean against for a post that we'll do later. And after you get those things together, let's go ahead and get settled into a comfortable seated position. Any position of your choice. If you want to sit in a chair, you want to sit in a chair with your back straight up against the back, resting. You want to sit crisscross applesauce. That's a great option. You could send your legs out long. Settle into a comfortable seated position of your choice. Allow your spine to lengthen on the inhale and to soften on the exhale. Maybe allow your eyes to close or your gaze to soften, start to blur over. Notice what your shoulders are doing. And with your gentle attention, your slow breath, you guide your shoulders to a more relaxed space. Begin to notice what your jaw is feeling. With that breath, you begin to allow it to soften, tongue to relax, space around your brow to soften, your neck begin to release tension. Continue to bring your attention down your body, through your shoulders, arms, wrists, hands, all the way down to the fingertips. Noticing and relaxing with each breath. Drawing it back into the torso. Guiding your attention to your abdomen, hips, and your glutes. Drawing it down the legs. Breathing gently. Releasing the knees. Noticing the calves and ankles. And even the feet and toes. Draw our attention back to our breath. Feeling the in-breath and then the out-breath. Beginning to equal out those breaths. Letting your inhale match the length of your exhale. Slow and steady. At the top of your next inhale, add a pause of any length. Keep the inhale and the exhale of equal length. fall into this rhythm. You let your mind rest in the attention, the physical sensation, of that breath cycle. Why do we as humans equate success to fame, power, and attention? If we do something notable, why do we desire another person's validation to be seen and heard? This is something I think about often as I find myself wanting to show the world my accomplishments and receive recognition for them. And this isn't a bad thing. But I think as humans, we can become mindful of our intention behind attention. Our journey to success can be a lonely one if we constantly seek approval. But it doesn't have to be lonely if we ourselves give our journey our own attention and we learn to celebrate ourselves. So as you breathe here for just a few moments more, give attention to yourself in this very moment. Celebrate your favorite aspect of you in this moment. Give attention to your existence. Now, throughout our practice today, I'm going to remind you to pay attention, not because I think you'll forget, but as a gentle reminder to celebrate that moment that you're in, whatever you find it and whatever it feels like. Great job today. Breathing, relaxing, bringing attention to your own body so you can celebrate. I'll take one more breath here. Giving gratitude to yourself that you took this time today to find movement that feels good for your body and the attention that you might want right now. Your next inhale, start to wiggle fingers and toes. Let your breathing return to its natural rhythm if you haven't already. And let's start to add some gentle movement into our practice. So from our comfortable seated position, if you happen to take a crisscross applesauce, go ahead and switch it up so that way you're feeling a little more balanced. If you're in any other position, you can just stay right where you are. All righty, so we're going to start by circling our hands out to the side and then lifting them overhead, stretching your fingertips towards the sky. And then let's create some fists overhead, really squeeze those hands. Pay attention to that feeling, to that sensation of contraction in your hands. And then with your exhale, let them open up big and wide and explode out. And this a couple times overhead at your own pace, squeezing and opening and noticing the feeling and matching your breath to your movement. All right, go ahead and open those hands, wiggle those fingertips, release all that tension, and then take your right hand and reach it up a little higher. Find a little lateral side bend as you reach up like you're grabbing something. Feel that stretch down the right side, and then take it to the left. And then take this at your own speed. Start to find a little rhythm, maybe a little sway even. We're going to be doing a lot of swaying in today's class. We're going to pay attention to how that feels in our body. So if you're feeling tight, maybe find a little flow. All right, come back through center, release those arms and release those shoulders. Give them a shake or a wiggle or anything else that you'd like. We'll go ahead and bring our right hand down by our right hip. Start to lift that left hand up and overhead. And as we do, we'll start to lean over to the right side. Feel that nice stretch down the spine. And then take that top arm and swoop it down in front. And then let it land on the left side, outside of the left hip. We'll take that right hand up and over. Feel that stretch through the right side body. Notice your breath, notice the moment. Exhale, swoop. And start to find a little sway in this movement between the two sides. A little fluid movement. Going as fast or as slow as you would like. Allow yourself to be in the moment. As you pay attention, as you celebrate the feeling, whatever it is. Go ahead and come back through center. Bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your tummy. And then start to find that sway in the hips that I was talking about. A little lean left to right. We're stretching those abdominal walls as we start to move our body. And then bring your chin down towards your torso, opening up through the back of the neck. As you maybe even close your eyes or soften your gaze, feel the sway in your body. Try to find a little bit of stillness, bringing spine and head back to neutral. Inhale, let the arms float out to the sides and then up. And then with your exhale, bring the hands behind the hips. Bring the fingertips so they're pointing towards your hips. And then scoot your hips just a little bit forward, not off your chair if you're sitting in the chair. And then begin to press into those fingertips, press into those hands, lifting up through the heart, rolling those shoulder blades back. Getting this nice opening. As you notice this moment and notice how it's feeling in your body, maybe even celebrate some aspect of this feeling. Inhale, arms float up and overhead, just close together or wide, it's up to you. And then bring your hands into a hug, reaching one hand towards your shoulder and then the other towards the opposite. Begin to find that sway once more. You're listening to music, maybe your sway matches the music. Bring your spine back to neutral, curl chin towards torso, around the spine, elbows towards your abdomen. Beautiful job. Big rainbow arch, the arms open and back to by the sides. And then crisscross them in the opposite direction. So whatever hand was on top last time, bring it to the bottom. We'll start to find our sway. We'll find our music. We'll find our breath. We'll find this moment, however it's feeling. Come back through center. Curl chin to chest, elbows in. Find that rounding of the spine. Great job. Inhale to release. Hands come by sides. Go ahead and grab that block size prop, either a block or something about the size. Again, it could be a book or anything else. We're going to have a little fun with blocks or fun with props. So we're gonna find a little cow face pose now. So coming into our up straight spine position, I want you to take your prop in your right hand, begin to feed it down your spine. And then you're gonna take your left hand and you're gonna catch it or grab it, depending on what's available in your body. But try to make that transition. And it's okay if it drops. We're just exploring, we're seeing what the moment feels like. Great job. After about 2 or 3 times of that, switch sides, letting the left hand feed the right. You may notice that it's less coordinated. Or you could be going back and forth. If you're just going back and forth, you can just go back and forth. All right. Great job. Go ahead and take your prop. This time, we're going to feed it in the middle of our spine. So through the back of our spine to the other side. Front, back. Kind of in a circle around the midline. Good job. All right. Go from a couple times on the other direction. So we're working our shoulders. We're working a lot of different muscles here in a lot of different ways. So notice what it's feeling like. All right, go ahead and pause that. Now it's going to get interesting. We're going to take it from the bottom and try to reach it up. And it's okay if it doesn't work. Maybe you lean forward, maybe it just doesn't happen, but explore, see what it feels like, notice the moment. Maybe grab a bigger prop if that feels like a better option. You could change to maybe your pillow. Might be a little easier of a prop. All right, we'll take just a couple more breaths with our cow face pose with props. All right, go ahead and finish that up. And then let's go ahead and come into a child's pose. So if you're in the chair, bring your knees a little wide, maybe your elbows to your knees and forehead onto your fingertips. Allow yourself to really relax into that. If you're on the mat, a child's pose of your choice, allowing your knees to be together or wide, letting your forehead stretch towards the ground, maybe even putting a prop under it if you'd like, make contact with the surface. And just notice this moment. Notice the sensations of your body. Notice your breath. Celebrate you. Celebrate the moment. Beautiful job. Their next inhale, we're going to release out of our child's pose. Let's come on up to standing. Come into your mountain pose. Stand tall. We'll lift our torso high. We'll roll those shoulders down in that relaxed position. And then let's inhale and circle those arms up and overhead. Feel that stretch, feel that length. And then with our exhale, hands together, or maybe right hand at hip or on a prop, we're going to lean towards the right. Inhale through center, feel that length once more. Exhale to the left. Inhale together through center. And with our exhale, we're going to pinwheel those arms as we twist at the hips, one behind, one in front. Maybe wiggle those fingertips. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist it to the left. Inhale through center, exhale, hinge into your forward fold. Hands resting on a prop of your choice, the floor or your legs. A nice generous bend in the knees, your torso dangles, your head releases. Can you soften your body with an exhale? You notice how this feels in this moment. Pressing into your hands, you halfway lift, figure 7, gazes down, core is engaged. Exhale to release. Maybe sighing, going a little bit deeper on the exhale. Bend the knees, sink the hips, roll it up to standing. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, we'll cactus the arms, we'll pull the heart forward, lift the chin and squeeze those shoulder blades. Beautiful job. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale through a prayer. And then find your mountain. A great sun salutation today. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves into our mountain at the front of our mat. We'll take our right foot, we'll step it back about a foot or two as we come into a pyramid pose. We'll lengthen our spine. We'll let our arms reach overhead if that feels like a good space, or maybe we'll hold on to something for support. And then with our next exhale, let's find a hinge, a forward fold over that front leg. Hands come to rest on a prop at either side of that front foot. You're noticing it strongly in the front knee. Bring a bend, letting the stretch move into your muscle. Beautiful job. Inhale to bring it up to straight. Step the back foot in, switch it up. Inhale, arms up. This time with our exhale, maybe we bring our hands to our lower back. Maybe we interlace fingers, grab opposite wrist, opposite elbow, or simply grab our shirt or make airplane arms. So we're squeezing those shoulder blades. That's our goal. And with our exhale, we find that hinge, that forward fold. Your hands are at your hips. You're always welcome to lift them off, stretching into those shoulders just a little bit more. And if this is too much, always welcome to release those hands back to the prop in front of you. Great job. If hands are lifted high in the air, bring them to your hips. We'll all release them and then inhale, straight spine. Step in that back foot. All right, we're going to take that same stretch, but we're going to add in a little bit of flavor. So this is where I talked about having the back of a piece of furniture or a wall available. So we're going to go back to the first side, find your pyramid legs. This time, as we exhale, we're going to bring our elbows to that prop of our choice. So a wall or to a piece of furniture. You're always welcome to pad the furniture with a blanket if it is feeling at all uncomfortable in the elbows. And then as you find that hinge, that forward fold, you can rest your forehead against the prop. You can bring your hands to a prayer pose, maybe. You can even start to stretch them towards the back of your head or the back of your neck. Now, did you notice the last pyramid pose on the side and how it felt? And how does it feel now to be here again, but now with the added arm stretch as well? Beautiful job. Inhale to release. Second side. Now, for this one, you can go at any of the choices that we've done so far. So you liked the chair pose, the shoulder release, get back into there. If you want to switch it up and go with the shoulder and do the opposite funny arm, feel free to do the back way. But find the pose that feels good for you in this moment. Pay attention to how it feels as you lean and hinge into your forward fold. Last breath here. Engage your core as you rise up to a straight spine. Step it in. All right, for this next pose, we're gonna go into a lizard lunge. You're using a chair for support. Step your right foot just outside of the right leg, and then step that left foot back. You're taking any other variation of lizard lunge. You don't have a prop necessarily to step outside of, but you're gonna move it to the right side of the mat and let the knees start to come out to a little bit of incline. And you can keep that back knee lifted, or you can even bring the back knee down to the ground. You can bring your hands to a prayer, or you could start to bring your hands to the ground or maybe onto some blocks or a prop. It's really up to you. Begin to sink into those hips though, however feels good for you. And if you want to roll onto the outside of that right foot, feel free to do so as well. Finding your lizard lunge of choice. You're doing great. We'll take one more breath here. Noticing how it feels. Now we're going to leave our left hand on whatever prop it's resting on, and then begin to twist that right arm out and around. Feel that length and extension as you twist through the torso from wherever you're at. You're doing great. Notice this moment. Exhale to release through your lizard lunge, and then come back into your mountain pose at the front of your mat. All right, let's take side two. Left foot to the left side, right foot steps back. Find your lizard lunge. Foot can be flat or you can roll out to the outer edge of the foot, getting that deep stretch in your hips. Length through your spine, through your neck, finding your breath. You're doing a great job. We're going to just hold it for another breath as you notice how it feels. Inhale, twist it up. Left hand reaches up, right hand stays there. Exhale to release. Bring it back to mountain in your own time, in your own way. Great job. All right. You're doing a great job today. I'm going to grab a drink. You're welcome to as well. All right, let's go and find our next pose here. We'll inhale, circle arms up and overhead. Exhale. Let's find that right lean side bend. Inhale through center. Exhale to the left. Inhale through center. We're going to find the twist to open propeller arms to the right as we twist at the hips. And then instead of making it stiff, find a little bit of a flow, a little bit of a windmill of the arms as you twist to the left. Hold it for a breath. And then at your own speed, at your own pace, find a little pulse between left and right, where you're twisting and windmilling the arms, opening them wide, feeling that flow of the spine, shoulders, the neck, hips, the glutes, and any other part of your body that might be feeling this. Great job. Bring it back to your side. Tall mountain. Exhale, hinge into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Pause there at your halfway lift. And then start to shift your weight over to the right foot. And begin to send the left toes back behind you. Now you're always welcome to keep those right toes firmly planted on the ground for the maximum support. For a little more of a balanced challenge, start to lift the toes, maybe a couple of inches, maybe up to hip height. We're working towards standing splits so that heel can continue to pull towards the ceiling as much as feels steady in your body. As long as you keep your hips in a downward position, not opening up like in three-legged dog and other open hip positions. Imagine pulling the heel, squeezing the glute. Great job. One more breath here. Inhale, bring the foot down, come back to standing. Great job. Celebrate yourself in whatever that whole thing just looked like. Step it in. All right, inhale, circle arms overhead. Exhale, cactus those arms, pull the heart forward. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Let's take that second side. Shift to the left foot. Begin to lift the right leg as high as feels good off the ground. Keeping the hips in neutral, not opening up the hips and stacking them, but keeping the hips in neutral. Take just a couple of breaths here. Remember to keep a bend in your standing knee as you notice how your body is feeling. You're doing great. Celebrate this moment. Exhale to release. Inhale, roll it up to standing. And let's bring the feet just a little bit wider than hip distance. Not our full wide position, but just a generous amount of space between our legs. And then we're going to inhale and circle our arms up overhead. Now, depending on how we're feeling today, maybe we bring a strap in between our hands and keep our hands wide. Maybe we circle the hands into a circle. Maybe we bring fingertips together and interlace them. Maybe we grab wrists or maybe we grab elbows. It's all up to you. We're going to take a sunflower pose. We're going to take that right elbow, begin to scrunch our rib cage as we bring the right elbow towards our right hip, our right leg, anywhere all the way down to the right ankle. And then once you've reached your bottom point, flip the left elbow over to the left side, and then lead with that right elbow as you come back up. And go just a few circle rotations in this direction, going at your pace, your depth. Noticing and celebrating the moment for what it is. Pause. Take your sunflower to the left. All right, come through center. Release the arms. Take the feet just a little bit wider. And then with hands on hips or one on a prop for support, find a generous hip circle here. Noticing how that feels in your body, pulling your hips intentionally to each side, finding a little fluid motion. Again, pause and take it to the other side. Notice this moment. Notice how your body is feeling. Great job. Last breath here. Inhale through center. Take your legs as wide as feels comfortable for you today. Have a prop in front of you for support. A chair or blocks or maybe those walls. And then with our next exhale, we're going to engage our core. Start to hinge forward. Maybe walking those hands down your legs. Finding the prop of your choice. Letting yourself sink into a forward fold. Now you're always welcome to add a generous bend to your knee. You can even find a little bit of movement, a little sway here as you sink into this forward fold from this wide-legged position, allowing yourself to sink into the moment for just a breath or two. Maybe even bringing elbows out, hands to opposite elbows, and finding a little ragdoll sway from left to right. Wherever you're at, find some stillness. Bend the knees, sink the hips, slow roll up to five-pointed star. As you are one. Go ahead and step it in. Mountain pose. All right, from here, let's find a tabletop of our choice. So you're always welcome to use the high or maybe the low part of your chair, keeping the feet under your hips and knees. Maybe you're coming onto all fours on your mat. You're sinking in to hands under shoulders, knees under hips, straight spine. And then let's get our right hand out long and our left toes back. Now you're always welcome to keep them grounded, or maybe start to reach them up, point the toes behind you. Point your fingers and toes in opposite directions. Feel that length and extension. And then let's exhale and curl elbow to knee. Keep this a couple times at your own pace, lengthening and exhaling and rounding. Great job. Extend out. Drop your hand back under your shoulder, and then take that extended foot, give it a half circle so it crosses behind the other foot, and tuck the toes down into the ground. And then begin to look over your left shoulder back at your right foot. Great job. Come back through center. Exhale, tabletop. Let's take that second side. Sending the opposite arm and opposite leg. Reaching and stretching. Feeling that extension throughout your body. Feel this moment. Notice this moment. Exhale and take it at your own pace. Inhale to extend. Exhale, release the hand to the floor. And then half circle the lifted leg over to the other side. Begin to look over your shoulder, back at that foot. Job. Inhale to come back through center. Exhale, tabletop. Now from here, we're going to find a child's pose of our choice. Again, if you want, add a little bit of a shoulder opener. So if you're taking it from a chair, maybe you stay where you're at from that tabletop, letting the feet open wide, the knees bend, and you sink the hips down towards the heels, letting yourself come into a bit of a standing child's pose. And you can rest your hands high or low, depending on making space for your body. You're always welcome to come into that seated child pose, even maybe bringing a prop under your hands. That's an option. And from the ground, a great option would be to come into that shoulder stretch with maybe a little bit of a prop. So maybe some blocks or books under the elbows to lift them off the ground just a little bit as you sink your forehead towards the floor. We've done a lot of movement. We stretched the body in a lot of ways.
And you notice this moment and how it might feel either the same or different from the last moment that you found yourself in this position. And you celebrate you and how far you've come, not just in tonight's practice, but throughout life. Take one more breath here. Then let's walk our hands back, releasing out of our child's pose. And then we'll find a comfortable reclined position. Down the mat, you're maybe coming onto your back. And if you're in the chair, maybe you're grabbing a pillow or something, placing it behind you. You don't have to have a pillow, but keep the hips forward and let the shoulders recline back. Feet about hip distance apart, knees bent, a constructive rest, the spine straight. And you notice the shoulders, begin to relax them. Find a gentle twist in the neck, rocking from left to right. And you allow each exhale to begin to soften the body. And then find a gentle sway of the knees, letting them fall from left to right in windshield wiper knees. Great job. Inhale. Bring the feet to stillness, and then let's begin to tug the right knee in towards the torso. Find a gentle twist of the right ankle. And then reverse it. Begin to find a circle with the right leg. And then reverse it. Inhale, hug it in one more time. Exhale, hold behind the leg, maybe with your hand or with your strap. Begin to send the leg out long. Point and flex the foot. Now begin to contract through your abdominal muscles and control the movement as you begin to lower that leg towards the ground. And then once it reaches, you can find your constructive rest once more. Inhale, second side. Knee comes in, we find our ankle circles. Exhale to reverse. Inhale, we find our knee circles, our hip circles, whatever you want to call them, to move through that big hip joint. And then reverse. Inhale, hold behind the leg, extend it out long, point and flex, point and flex, point and flex. All right, last time, engaging those abdominal muscles, slow descend of the leg towards the ground. Find your constructive rest. Shift your hips towards the right, and then begin to allow your knees to fall towards the left, finding one last twist here, a nice inclined twist. If you don't like your legs hanging out, maybe you bring the knees so they're in alignment. Maybe you bring a block or something between the legs, a pillow or a blanket.
Maybe you stagger the knees. If you'd like to take a bind, you're welcome to do that as well. This is your twist, so find a way to make it feel the most comfortable. Maybe allow the arms to come out towards the sides, letting the shoulders open just a little bit. And your gaze can go in any direction that feels really yummy in this twist of your spine. Notice your heartbeat. Can you pay attention? And can you slow it with your breath? Giving it just a little more space. Maybe even finding that equal breath with the pause at the top as we come through these last final poses together. Our inhale brings the knees through center. Our exhale shifts our hips to the left. And the knees fall to the right. Paying attention to how the body is feeling in this very moment, we make adjustments, adding props, crosses, binds, however feels the most comfortable to us in this moment. As we settle into our twists, find our breath. Scan the body, moving. Noticing how we're feeling. Beautiful job today. Slowly begin to unwind the spine. Take legs out as wide as feels good. And then let the arms come up overhead in a reclined star pose. We'll take just a few breaths here as we imagine a light streaming down from a star, the moon, or the sun, or from something ahead overhead is beaming a light on us. And let it fill our body, knowing that we are a star. And then as you're ready, exhale, release into your final resting pose, adding any props, sweaters, or socks. And finding the most comfortable position so you can start to relax on command. As you settle in, make any adjustments, make any movements, knowing that finding stillness looks different to everyone. Maybe you allow your eyes to close, and maybe you simply soften your gaze, finding the most comfortable position, allowing your body to settle into stillness, feeling the support beneath you, the ground holding you effortlessly. Let your breath move naturally, neither forcing nor controlling, simply noticing the rise and the fall. As you take a deep breath in and exhale slowly, begin to let go of any tension or worries.
As you allow yourself to settle into this space, you invite in a sense of calm and ease. Bring your awareness to your hands and feet, the feeling of your body. Acknowledge this moment of rest, the space you've made for yourself. As we sit here together, let's turn our attention inward. In our daily lives, we often seek attention or validation for our actions, hoping to be recognized and appreciated. This desire for approval can sometimes influence our intentions behind our good deeds. Can you reflect on a moment when you sought validation from others? And then consider how this desire shaped your actions and feelings. Understanding that it's natural to seek recognition. But today, let's explore a different perspective. Now bring to mind a time when you did something kind, something generous, perhaps for another, perhaps for yourself. Notice how your mind responds. Was there a quiet joy, a seeking for acknowledgement, a desire to be seen? Simply observe without judgment. We'll rest here in this knowing, this noticing how often we look outward for approval, how natural it is to want to be witnessed. And yet, beneath that seeking, there's something quieter, something truer, a feeling of knowing within yourself that you acted with care. Or begin to shift your focus to the intention behind those actions. Why did we seek approval for our good deeds? Are we looking for external validation to feel worthy? Or are we genuinely motivated by kindness and compassion? As we bring our awareness to the deeper motivations that drive our actions, recognize that true fulfillment comes from within and not from external praise. When we act with pure intentions, the need for validation diminishes, and we can celebrate ourselves for the goodness that we bring into the world. Now begin to shift your intention inward, as though you are sitting beside yourself, witnessing your own goodness, not with the eyes of the world, but with your own, without evaluation, without a score, only a quiet recognition. And breathe here. Feel into the completeness of your own knowing. How does it feel to hold your own experience?
to validate yourself, to rest in the worth of your actions without needing them to be seen. And as we focus on celebrating ourselves, we acknowledge the good deeds we've done, not for the sake of validation, but to honor the positive impact you've made. Celebrate your efforts and the kindness you've shown, no matter how big or small. Take a deep breath in, filling yourself with a sense of self-appreciation. Now exhale slowly, letting go of any need for external validation. Allow yourself to embrace the joy and fulfillment that comes from knowing you have made a difference. Let your breath be slow, steady. Let this moment be enough. Take with you this deeper attention, not to how the world receives you, but to the quiet completeness of your own heart. And remember, by focusing on our true intentions and by celebrating ourselves, we can find a deeper sense of fulfillment and peace. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me tonight. And as we come to the end of our meditation, take the deepest breath of your day so far, savoring the sense of self-celebration and fulfillment. And then exhale slowly, feeling a sense of peace and connection as you gently start to bring your awareness back into your present moment. Wiggle fingers and toes. Make any stretch movements that feel like they're needing to be had in this moment. Flutter the eyes open and in your own time and in your own way, come up to an upright position facing me. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time.